This is the Transcend in Life podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson, taking you from fear to freedom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Transcend in Life. You are here for a Tuesday tune-up with myself, J.M. Ryerson, and my lovely co-host,
Lisa.
So what's happening? How are you feeling? You're a little fidgety this morning. What's going on over there?
I got lots of stuff going on today.
Like what?
Like things are getting put up in our house finally. we're getting more furniture tomorrow. It's just a lot right now.
So essentially what you're telling me is the whole minimalist movement is going away, and now we're fully functioning with furniture. I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah, we've been squatting for about 2 months now. It's been fun, but not really. So it'll be nice to get some furniture in.
I have to say, I love not having furniture. If I had it my way, I think I might have a couch and beds, and that's about it. Because having like this wide open space, it's so much fun. But anyway, that's not why we're here today. I want to talk about 3 keys to succeed in the new norm. And I guess the new norm would be COVID and this whole pandemic, staying home. You know, I'm not a fan of this. Not that many people are, but there's some things that I think you can do to succeed through it. So before I go into my points, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to back up real fast. You said that it's not you're not a fan of this?
No.
You're like made for COVID. You love being at home. You said your favorite birthday was this year because you were at home.
Okay, fine. So you're getting to one of the points, which is there's some good that's come out of this. However, just like anything, you want what you can't have. I can't just go to the bar and hang out, watch a game right now with no mask on. And honestly, it's probably the mask that drives me the most crazy. I love seeing people smile. I want to see people I want to give them a hug. I had a vendor the other day shake my hand, and I was like, yes, give me a hug, man. He thought that was a little too much, but that's why I don't care for it.
Yes, lack of human interaction.
Yes, I'm a hugger, as you well know. Touch is a big thing for me, and I can't do that. I can't even give somebody a high five without the weird feeling, right? It's like, give me a fist bump is like the good thing right now, or the elbow thing.
Yeah, the elbow wing. Elbow wing.
Just come on, man. Let me hug you. So that's why I say
gotcha.
F COVID. But yes, there's been some good. But when it comes to some of the things about succeeding or thriving in this, I do think there's a couple things people can be doing so that it's not such a shock to the system. And I know we've been doing this damn near a year, geez. But being resourceful, that's the first point. Resourcefulness, I think if people choose to be resourceful, they can get as much out of this as possible. And what maybe an idea is like the gym, right? Being more resourceful. You can't go to the gyms in most places. So literally doing bicep curls with a chair. I don't know, something like that.
Well, I'm going to have to give a shout out because our friend Jack Burnside, during COVID when the gym shut down, he got 2 Alhambra water, those big office water jugs, filled them up. I don't know, somehow jimmied a broomstick in between the 2 and was literally working out at home. And as you've seen him, dude is shredded right now.
Apparently milk jugs or water jugs or whatever the hell works, because damn, bro.
Right? So talk about being resourceful. He totally was resourceful during this time.
Well, some other examples would be, and this is actually probably my favorite thing that happened, reconnecting with friends, which sounds odd, but what's that game that we were playing on the phone?
House party.
That is
so fun.
What a great thing to come out of that, because how often do you get to actually play board games or, some form of a game with people 1,000 miles, or now that we've moved from California, we're 3,000 miles away. You want to keep those relationships going? House party.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So is there other ideas with resourcefulness? Because that's one. I mean, the virtual cocktail parties, Zoom, obviously, we do get to see one another's face. That's the good that's come out of this, is reconnecting with people that you would have just maybe passing by, seeing them every once in a while. Now you make a concerted effort if you're being resourceful. Does it make sense?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. I think something else that has been really, I don't know, I've been more cognizant of, I guess, is, texting people and sending them funny memes or just things that make me think about them, because I feel like when, our old norm, we're just busy. We're go, 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 go. And now, because we've lost a lot of our freedom per se, you have to become creative with that and sending people presents or, just things that are letting them know that you're thinking about them. Because I know that we've gotten a ton of presents when we moved here. We had a lot of people reaching out when we moved. It's just, I don't know. It makes you feel really good, I feel.
So I guess it's really looking for the opportunities where before maybe we took them for granted, right? And maybe that's when I'm calling it being resourceful. Just making sure that you're really looking for any opportunity, just like Jack and the broomstick and the water jugs. Yes, a barbell would be far better, but you know what? He probably activated some smaller muscles because those jugs they're going to be moving all over the place. Actually, I want to give this a try now.
Maybe he just invented something. He's going to be the next billionaire. He doesn't know it yet.
I guess if I'm going to look like that, I'll do milk jugs. That's cool. I'm good with that.
Or water jugs.
Or water jugs. Yeah, we don't have milk in the house. I guess water jugs. The next one I have is sticking with a routine. I found at the beginning of this, people just got rid of their routine because they couldn't leave the house. I think that's a mistake. I think sticking with waking up at the very similar time. I'm not saying don't enjoy a little extra sleep in. Maybe you stay in your PJs all day. But I think that's a slippery slope because all of a sudden, now you're not doing anything. You're literally on the couch watching some show, eating potato chips all day. That sounds good for about 2 hours. After that, I can't do it. So sticking with the routine has been really important for me through this. I know it's been different for you because you used to go out so much for your routines, but have you kind of found that?
Yeah, I think it's easier to stick to a routine when you have children, right? I mean, they have to get to certain places. I know TJ never stopped playing tennis through this entire time. I was very blessed to have an amazing group of family friends that we had in California where we developed a summer camp program for the kids. We were kind of in our little bubble and everybody was safe and they were pretty much the only people we saw on a daily basis. And we were able to keep the kids socially active and outside because I never wanted them to lose that. So yes, was there maybe a few weeks in there that I stayed in my pajamas all day? Actually, I'm in my pajamas right now. I love my pajamas. And maybe did I binge watch, 12 seasons of Shameless? Maybe. But around that time, I still, eventually I had to go, okay, enough is enough. It's time to get going.
Yeah, I just noticed I didn't feel good if I wasn't doing it. I'm pretty strict on my morning routine. I have to do my bulletproof coffee, my mind games, meditation, reading, sending out the quotes, all that stuff. If I don't do it, my day doesn't feel like a success. But even with the kids, when we were letting them just be chilling on their iPad instead of going out and doing recess, that would be the routine at school, right? They would be out playing. We had to get back to that where it's no, get your butt outside, go have some fun, get some vitamin D. This is important. So I don't know. I realized the new routine has actually probably changed for people from what they had pre-COVID. Now there's a different routine, but we are creatures of habit. And I think it's important for us, so it's not such a shock to continue to look for that routine. Is it lifting you up or is it bringing you down? I'm really glad you got through Shameless, I guess. I heard it's really good. Kind of a little negative for me personally, but I guess you got some education from it.
I did.
What'd you learn from it?
Well, I learned that it was hilarious. Yes, it was very sad at times. And it does put your world into perspective, right? Because sometimes we live in our little bubbles and we think that, oh, life is good, life is easy. But in that show, you realize life is not easy, right? And it's really just putting into perspective that, people are going through hard times and you don't know what people are going through. And it's really important to lift everybody up that you meet on a daily basis.
All right. So that show gave you perspective?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you one learning there. It did seem pretty humorous, but I like burying my head in the sand a little bit. I don't like that world exists, but I know it does. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is attitude. I talk about this a lot right now. I certainly coach a lot of people on this. There's so much negativity out there. If you want it, just turn on the news, turn on your news feed, whether it's CNN or Fox. It doesn't really matter whether it's a really liberal side or a really right-wing side. It is going to be sensationalized. It's going to be negative. I want you all to ask yourself, what is driving your agenda? Is it some network or is it you? So being really clear with your with your attitude, so it's not being driven by the media, by other people's agendas. I think that's so important right now. What have you been doing to kind of watch your attitude? Because I know it's been a bit of a roller coaster, right? Through this.
Yeah. It's, I just a second on that. I think it is really important because I know at some point, I want to say it was probably like April, and I started watching the news, and every morning I'd wake up and started Googling like, how many cases of COVID is there now? What is it like in California? What's a shutdown? And I literally went into kind of a downward spiral, for like a good week or two. And it was just really, everything was just in my mind because my attitude wasn't right. Things were just not right? Nothing just seemed right during that time. And I talked to a lot of my friends, and I know everybody kind of went through this funk, and it's really important to snap out of it. Right. And it's easier said than done. But it's really just, we practice gratitude, right? So it's important to look at, we talk about the 3 things that we're grateful for at dinner. We haven't done that lately. And I think it may be because we haven't had dining furniture, but now we do. So we can start that back up again. But it's really important just to put things in perspective and say, hey, these are the things we're grateful for. Right? We're grateful that we're healthy. We're grateful that we're together. We're grateful that we have a roof over our head. And that can really help change your attitude towards life, I feel, on a daily basis. I actually reach out to a lot of outside influences I know it needs to come from within, but I'm kind of a outward person, obviously. And so to help me, when I'm feeling down, is calling up a friend, or, it drastically changed during COVID when I was able to see my girlfriends again in person. Like, house party was great. Zoom was okay, fine, whatever. But really just being able to hug them, being able to hang out with them. And so that really helps me, I feel.
Well, one of the mantras I have going into 2021 is focus on the things you can control. And what I mean by this, so making sure that it's not some media conglomerate running you. Control that, i.e. you can turn off your notifications. You can turn off that news feed. I'm not saying don't bury your head in the sand. I'm not saying to do that. Be informed, be educated, but do it on your time. Make sure that you're picking and choosing. You are not getting caught in this cycle of just watching this negative shit over and over and over, because that will eventually burn into you, that attitude. It's just, guys, we can't help it as human beings. You realize how much you will have to do to overcome that. So I really hope people listen to this one on attitude. And by the way, all of us are susceptible. That's a hard word for me. Susceptible to that, because it is so powerful. And I'm not going to call it propaganda. Okay. I'm not going to go that far, but they're very good at this, right? The news and the media is very good. I'm not saying they're all bad. That's not my point here. I just want people to make sure they are driving their own agenda. So I do have 3 questions that I always like to ask. And that is this real? Is it sensationalized? and how does this affect me? Every time I ask those questions, no matter how emotionally charged up I get, it stops me for a minute to say, hey, is this actually real? Is this being sensationalized as something more than that? And how does it actually affect me? So that I'm not bringing that negativity towards my kids, towards you, towards anybody I'm working with, because that's obviously not something I want to do. So anything else on attitude?
No, I think you about covered it. Something I actually can add on, though, is you are really good with that, and I use you for that because my brain just goes down crazy paths, right? Like crazy. It's amazing how your brain can just, like go down these rabbit holes, I guess, as I call it, and it just keeps on going and going. And I'm just so grateful for you that you can sit there and go, but is this really real? Like, let's stop and think about it. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, how did my mind even get to that point? Right.
Well, the beauty of our minds is they're amazing. They're incredible. They're so creative. That works both ways, by the way. They are creatively destructive and they're also creatively beautiful. Just check in with it. Make sure. I'd love to hear how other people have got through this time. Some of the ways they've succeeded. Where can they send that to us?
Yeah, so you can email your comments and your stories to info@letsgowin.com. Please comment on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram pages. We're constantly posting on, there's blogs on there, all kinds of fun things. But please comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys for sure. I didn't plan on doing this, but it just hit me. The journal's coming out. That's happening in like February. So
fun.
I'm excited for that. I think as excited as I was about the book, maybe even more.
Really?
Yeah, I really think this is going to impact lives. I think people can get a lot out of it. And it's really simple. That's what I think that's why it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Anyway, that's coming out in February, I think.
February.
Yeah,
journal. Cool. Get ready for the playbook.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for listening in and being here. We love doing this with you guys. Can't wait to hear from you. Until next week, continue transcending life. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to transcendinlifepodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Transcend in Life podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson, taking you from fear to freedom.